A greeting from Jude. Jude, a servant of Jesus Christ and a brother of James, to those who are called, loved by God the Father, and kept in Jesus Christ, mercy, peace, and love be multiplied to you. God's judgment on the ungodly, beloved. Although I made every effort to write to you about the salvation we share, I felt it necessary to write and urge you to contend earnestly for the faith entrusted once for all to the saints. For certain men have crept in among you unnoticed, ungodly ones who were designated long ago for condemnation. They turn the grace of our God into a license for immorality, and they deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. Although you are fully aware of this, I want to remind you that after Jesus had delivered his people out of the land of Egypt, he destroyed those who did not believe, and the angels who did not stay within their own domain, but abandoned their proper dwelling. These he has kept in eternal chains under darkness, bound for judgment on that great day. And like men are Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, who indulged in sexual immorality and pursued strange flesh, are on display as an example of those who sustain the punishment of eternal fire. Yet in the same way these dreamers defile their bodies, reject authority, and slander glorious beings. But even the archangel Michael, when he disputed with the devil over the body of Moses, did not presume to bring a slanderous charge against him, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." These men, however, slander what they do not understand, and like irrational animals they will be destroyed by the things they do instinctively. Woe to them! They have traveled the path of Cain, they have rushed for profit into the air of Balaam, they have perished in Korah's rebellion. These men are hidden reefs in your love feast, shamelessly feasting with you, but shepherding only themselves. They are clouds without water, carried along by the wind, fruitless trees in autumn, twice dead after being uprooted. They are wild waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame, wandering stars, for whom blackest darkness has been reserved forever. Enoch, the seventh from Adam, also prophesied about them. Behold, the Lord is coming with myriads of his holy ones, to execute judgment on everyone, and to convict all the ungodly of every ungodly act of wickedness, and every harsh word spoken against him by ungodly sinners. These men are discontented grumblers, following after their own lusts. Their mouths spew arrogance, they flatter others for their own advantage. I call to persevere, but you, beloved, remember what was foretold by the apostles of our Lord Jesus Christ, when they said to you, "In the last times there will be scoffers who will follow after their own ungodly desires. These are the ones who cause divisions, who are worldly and devoid of the Spirit. But you, beloved, by building yourselves up in your most holy faith and praying in the Holy Spirit, keep yourselves in the love of God as you await the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ to bring you eternal life. And indeed have mercy on those who doubt, save others by snatching them from the fire, and to still others show mercy tempered with fear, hating even the clothing stained by the flesh. Doxology. Now to him who is able to keep you from stumbling, and to present you unblemished in his glorious presence with great joy, to the only God our Savior be glory, majesty, dominion, and authority through Jesus Christ our Lord, before all time and now and for all eternity. Amen. Amen.
Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do. This is our Thankful Thursday episode. And if you're not familiar with what that is, on Thursdays, we just get together, have a good show, talk about different and sundry things. And I have a plethora of sundry things tonight for you all. So hopefully you all had a wonderful week. It's been a great week over here at Whitaker Park. And we've had a great week. I don't know another way to say it. Chief Executive Second Born is off to college. Her vehicle got out of the shop that was in the wreck, and my family's all happy, healthy, and safe. So you know what? I got no complaints. That's why it's Thankful Thursday. Hopefully you all had a great day. I'm looking forward to talking with you all and having a great show. So shout out to everybody who already jumped into the best live chat on the internet. What's going on? Giselle, by the way, hit the like button and then go ahead and drop your like number in the chat. There we go. Just like Amethyst. She's number 2. Absolutely. Chrissy up in the building. Shout out. Now, by the way, if you see people with that wrench next to their names, they're moderators of the channel, and they keep this thing going in the right direction. So before I even get too far, I just want to say thank you to the moderators, and happy Thankful Thursday to all of y'all. So shout out for sure. Thank you, Amethyst did drop the link to Rhythm and Bible. That is our opening, and that'll be our closing this evening. So please make sure you go check out what Rhythm and Bible are doing over there. Great content over there, and I think you would enjoy. Very similar to what we just saw right here. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, Liz. How are you doing? Did you have a little song in your heart, Amethyst? You want to sing it? You want to sing it? What's going on? So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much to all of you all who jumped in already. We got a good show today. I'm going to talk about something we talked about on Sunday's episode, on Sunday's live stream. I just started wandering around people's classrooms, right? When these teachers were doing their classroom setups and first day setups and such like that. And it's kind of giving you my little 2 cents. If you're not familiar, I'm a former classroom teacher, and I like to look at what teachers are doing. And we started looking at this to kind of give you a gauge of what your teachers' classrooms look like and why do they do some of the things that they do. So I have a really fun video. Some people asked me I could not find it. We're talking about, well, you need to show the first week of school video. I'm going to tell you right now, the first week is, look, usually for the first month, everything goes exactly not as planned. It goes pretty well. But after that first 30 days, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You might be just holding on for dear life, trying to make it the next 150 days without losing your life. So I want to we have some fun videos looking at teachers showing their classrooms. And I thought it was fun. We had a great time on Sunday. So I got another one we're going to be popping in with that as well. And then we got some other things we're going to talk about, a topic I've never discussed before on this channel. And I just want to hear what y'all thoughts are on it. So real quick, before we pull this video in, if you are a parent, a grandparent, an aunt or uncle, a mentor, or even a teacher him or herself, let me know what y'all think about this. We're going to be going through a couple of classrooms. I got about 9 or 10, give or take, I think it is. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Green Hearts in the chat where you can hear.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to day 1 of Classroom Setup. Man, I'm super stoked to be back, man. It's going to be a good year, man. And I'm really feeling like Mr. Eddie off of Abbott Elementary. Like, I'm finna bust out these dance moves. Like, I'm truly geek for this year. Like, it should really be a good year. But let's get to it. So I had to go back to the...
So I wanted to start with this one because on our last episode looking at teachers, I told you, I said, if you're a male teacher in a building, you need to have a stepladder. Right? Okay. Remember that.
Truck, get all my Amazon packages, and that's gonna help me set up the classroom. And shout out to everybody that's been donating. I truly do appreciate it. And I wanted to share with y'all the overview of my classroom. And we got a window now. Like, we ain't in no jail cell no more. We got windows. And look at the desk. Like, we got a whole new setup right now. But before we get started, y'all know I gotta put on them tunes. We gotta zone out and get a lot of stuff done today. Look, rock my world. But make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Come back for day 1, day 2, day 3. And I'm going to stop talking right now because I'm talking too much. I'm just going to let the music play in the background. We out.
Oh, no. I didn't know. Copyright. And them doggone green walls. Boy, them green walls is getting some usage in 26. Lord have mercy. I like that. I like those. Okay. I like those. I like them. I like original anchor charts. And a lot of people putting these lights in their classrooms. Look, I could sell y'all some lights. I got some lights for y'all. From this, I love them windows. Those windows are very nice. I always have a lot of plants in my classroom. Okay. All right. Now, I want to know, where did his desk go? Because he had a white desk when he started. Go back just a little smidgen. Yeah, he's got those white desks. Where did those desks go? That's a thing. Like, teachers will always trade, not always. Teachers will trade out. Yeah, those are, I know he didn't paint them. Those are brown. Interesting. Because the original ones were like beige. Interesting. Okay. Now, what'd you say here? Shout out for sure. What'd you say? No offense, this guy, but Grace walls and red flag. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not fully yeah, the grass wall is a that's the thing. I've seen some other teachers use it as well. Not a fan of it myself. I wouldn't be doing it. I'll tell you that much. Okay. It definitely looks like an upper grade classroom. It looks good though. Slick. I like it.
It's classroom setup, day 6.
Earlier. I like the way she did it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's a first grade teacher.
All right, let's wrap this up. First things first, if you sent me something for my Amazon wishlist, thank you so much. This never happens to me, and I'm so thankful because typically I would spend my own money on this stuff. Today I'm going to focus on clearing out my teacher area, the calm down corner, putting down my line spots, putting up my voice levels, redoing the data wall, and getting to organizing the cabinets. That's the biggest thing today.
All right, let's see. I never did that. I never. There's it's very easy. I mean, look, I like her. I like her. I would not spend any time doing that. Because when the custodian comes in, because the custodian is going to hate you, because he or she is going to have to try to clean around that so they don't rip it up on the floor when they bring the mopper in, or they mop, or they don't get it too wet and stuff like that. Ma'am, there's no reason to do that. You could put a permanent marker dot on the floor and the kids can do that, because she has the concrete floors, so they don't have the tiles. The tiles are a godsend because you can do so much with the tiles. Sometimes you can use the tiles to measure. You can definitely, everybody gets a square, stuff like that. So I, I don't know how long she's been teaching, but she will never do that again.
Okay. All right, guys, I just got done with the number line. Tell me, what do you guys think?
I would have did that.
Let's set up the calm down corner.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't. Calm down corner is very interesting. I never did that, but I understand what they're doing. It's just, it definitely goes with what the teacher's ideology is pertaining to that topic of, like, what do you do when a kid is like hyped up and amped up and all that kind of stuff like that? Calm yourself down. You breathe deep, calm down, get yourself together, get yourself back over here and sit down. I will back.
I'm going to go ahead and start packing all of this stuff into the cabinets, and they are going to be gone in 3, 2, 1.
All right. That looks pretty good. That is a nice cabinet right there, that pink cabinet. It looks like a mechanic's toolbox, truth be told. But that's nice. That looks very nice. Shout out to her. Love that. So if you're wondering what a
Okay, guys,
data wall is, hold on one second, back up. So this data wall right here, usually teachers use this to show growth over time. So maybe like they'll put all their spelling scores on here or a particular subject matter, reading scores, or my um I've learned my multiplication tables or my multiplication facts up to 12, so on and so forth. So it's just a way of showing so that when the principal comes in, they can see that you are capturing data, because that's stuff that you got to put in your grade book, you got to put in final reports, you got to put in your weekly progress reports, all that kind of stuff like that. It just puts it in a central spot so the kids can see that hopefully they're moving. And that's behind. I guess that's her teacher. This is her teacher. They call it kidney bean table. This is more like a horseshoe table, truth be told. But this, I guess, is her teacher spot. Okay, I can rock with you. Let's go.
Okay, guys, I just cleaned up the teacher's area, but I just made things 10 times worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a tool cabinet. That is a mechanic's tool cabinet. I ain't mad at you. Where did you get that from? Those are fancy, and it's pink of all things. So if you ever look online, if you ever, I don't know, if you have a mechanic in your life or whatever, those are some very expensive mechanic. Wow. I'm sure it's probably not the exact same one that your local BMW mechanic uses, but shout out to her. That's nice. That teacher cabinet is full, boy. I want to see what it looks like after a month of school. That thing is almost crazy. Woo, I've done it. Those Legos? Her camera angles are absolutely diabolical. I love it. I love how she working that camera though. Shout out to her.
Okay, I am definitely getting somewhere. I still have a lot to go, but I'm making progress.
Shout out. That's a beautiful
All right,
class.
besties, that's it for setup day 6. I am quite literally getting kicked out right now. So that's pretty much it. I'm almost done with my classroom. So the next time you guys see this room, we will have a tour.
I'm out of here.
All right. So no, I thought that classroom was outstanding. I think she did a great job. Again, some of the things that we do as teachers, they look good on paper. They look good on the gram. They look good on Pinterest. They look good on Teachers Pay Teachers. But when you apply them in your own classroom, they go foobar real quick. And that one right there is definitely one of them, man. I can't see putting those dots on the floor. Man, you better stand on that floor and be quiet. All right, let's go. So this is a pre-K classroom. I think this one is cute. Let's go. I like cute classrooms. And there was music in here, and that's why it's muted. I think this is a nice setup. It doesn't need to be super drab. I love the reading. I love the reading nook right here with the teacher and these big ABC rugs. I love those. Those are a commodity. I love the chair. So she probably sits right here. She probably does something with her giant smart board right here. That looks like a Promethean board right there. Or actually, it's a television, a smart television. It's not a board, it's a television, which is just on a cart. And the kids sit she'll probably have them sit on a letter. You sit on the letter L, you sit on the letter N, stuff like that. Or they can just sit on the floor, but don't, stay distant from your peers. Yeah, I love it. Shout out to her. And this is open house night, so it's not ready for little people just yet. But that's cute. She did a great job. Excellent setup. A lot of pink in there. I'm not a big pink fan, but I'm okay with that. All right, let's see how this one looks. There was a lot of people using music in theirs. Sorry about that, y'all. So you don't have to listen to me tell bad jokes. but there were a lot of music in here. I like this one. I thought she did a good job. It was a little bit mature, I thought, as well as the color scheme was right on the button. I do not understand this frayed tablecloth trend. I'm glad I'm not in the classroom because that would make me crazy. that would put me on struggle. Yeah, that was a good color. This is a decent color, I thought. Not too much. But yeah, they all had music in theirs. So I had to mute the music so I can get a copyright strike. I think this one, this one had a lot. Oh my gosh. This didn't even have appropriate music. Like, what the world are we doing? All right, so he's using the smart board is a godsend sometimes. So he's using the smart board, or this one's the television again, I'm sorry. He's using the smart television as a fireplace. I mean, go figure. That's creative like nobody's business. Yeah, I thought this was great. I got no problem with it. It was a woman. This was a woman. I apologize. I thought this was great. The setup, again, you don't have to be over the top. You don't got to be over the top with that. But my only pushback would be, like I said, my principal told me, Whitaker, don't have all that store-bought stuff on my walls. So that would be the only thing is like make some anchor charts or something that is handwritten, just so it just shows something different. I mean, well, of course you're not gonna handwrite that, even though I know somebody who would have did that. All right, she had like a pink fridge. She was doing the most with the pink. I absolutely love it. I mean, it was very nice. There go that green wall again. Got the little green. That green is getting some mileage, boy. That little green.
Click the doorbell.
All right, so this is an interesting one. This is if I'm not mistaken, this is a special ed classroom. And so this one goes very differently than your normal classroom, of course, because they got a lot of needs or setups for special needs children. I just thought it was super interesting. And I don't think I've ever seen a special ed teacher share what his or her classroom looks like on for everybody to see behind the scenes.
Welcome to Mr. Jones's special ed self-contained classroom. Let me show you around. First thing is our sensory room. We're gonna have a trampoline set up and some bean bags and some flexible seating. We got some work to do in here. These were probably my favorite thing in the classroom I had last year. I like them right by the door. So they come in, it kind of distracts their steps. And they're not coming. They're taped on there pretty well with double-sided tape.
Sadie, jump.
So everything I said about the young lady who did it earlier, I still say it again. Like, over time, your custodians are going to hate those. They're going to work with you, though. Custodians are going to work with you. But I always try to make their lives easier because they make my life easier. I don't want any issues. So I probably would not have done this, but I understand what he's doing.
Good job, Sadie.
Get it, Sadie. Get it, girl.
Here's our fridge of celebration. I had a student last year who would put their stuff on my fridge and want to hang it up. And it was getting very crowded. So we made it their own fridge, and now all of the students use it. This is where we hang their either really good grades or good behavior scores. Each student carries around a behavior folder throughout the day. So their teachers give them a behavior score. If they get 100% on their behavior, we can hang them up in the fridge. I'm also going to add a student of the month. I don't know if I'm going to have staff vote on it or if we're going to have their peers vote on it, or maybe both, but we're going to do that. Here's our paraprofessional desk. They're not here a lot of the times. Either they're pushing into other gen ed classes or they're helping other kids here, but a place for them to set their things and sit down when they need to. They come back tomorrow, so we got them a little pick-me-up for the school day. You want to sit down, Carter? This is probably my favorite part of the classroom. This is our calming corner. Last year I had lights where they click what color light they were feeling. They didn't really like that, so I switched it up this year, and it's just little mirrors they can look at themselves.
Looks very calming.
Yeah, it is calming. Sometimes I just let them teach the lessons and I'll just hang out. Our sequin wall here. This has held up pretty well. This is the same thing from last year. Just staple all around it and then put some border around so they don't hit their hands on staples. Some lights. We have a little fish tank here. I thought about getting us a class pet, but we're gonna start with this fish tank. And it's hot glued on that shelf, so it's not going anywhere.
Daddy, how's working?
You're working?
You're working.
I love it. You're doing so good. Here's our sensory tool shelf. I labeled everything so they can kind of see what they're grabbing. You know, for the kids who have trouble reading, they can just see the visual. ChatGPT did that for me. I know not everyone's a huge fan of chat, but the boy is. Mr. Jones uses chat on the daily.
Oh my.
Man, you could have got them on Teachers Pay Teacher, my guy. You didn't need chat. You didn't need, man, you could have got those. Yeah. Anyway, that's cool. Let's keep it going.
Here's just my desk area. I didn't have a desk last year. I moved to a rolling cart. And you know what? I wasn't a fan, so we're bringing back the desk.
Oh, no, I didn't. I love the rolling cart. I had a teacher's desk and a rolling cart. So, like, it was like on the road. So then whenever we left the class, I would take my desk with me, put my computer on it, we'd go. Let's go. Anyway.
I honestly don't sit at my desk much, but just a place for me to set my things and go to when I need. My sweet wife made this for my classroom last year, and it's still up. This is our zones of regulation. So I teach a social skills class, so we talk about the different zones you're feeling and how you can handle each emotion, because emotions aren't bad, we're just learning how to handle them. Headphone station right here. We have noise cancellation headphones on this side, and then ones that can plug into their Chromebooks on this side. Last year we had a behavior bucks wall right here.
Being the fact that the move now is to move kids away from so much technology in school, I wonder what they're going to do about that. So more and more schools are trying to get away from tech. So I would like to know, and that might not even apply to a self-contained special ed class at all. But I just know that that's something that a lot of schools are trying to do. So shout out to him.
Student had an envelope, so it's kind of like their bank. My amazing paramedic made these bucks with my face on them.
Oh
So
my god.
if a student did something good, they could get a buck, and they would save it up. And if they had a good behavior score that week, they could spend it on Friday. If not, their bucks roll over to the next Friday. We had coupons for extra computer time, free homework pass. They could eat lunch with me or one of the paras. With the lights off, it just creates like a calming space for them to be. It's just less stimulating. Like I talked about in the past, we still use our juice cubes. It's our calming tool. It's probably my favorite calming tool that we use in my classroom.
Sadie, do you like the calming corner?
You like it?
Sadie says she's cool.
I'm going in my 6th year as an educator. I'm super excited to get this year going. This is my 4th year in this position. I'm a behavior teacher, so I have some students in here full time, and then I also have some students who come in for social skills or just come in throughout the day to regulate their emotions. Me and my paras also push into some gen ed classes to help with that too. So we're just excited for another year. Go Roos!
Okay. All right. I have no. Okay. Again, if you're just tapping in, Thankful Thursday. I appreciate y'all tapping in with us. We're just looking at some classrooms as the school year is getting ready to start here in Georgia. We've been in school for almost 3 weeks. And your kid's school probably is getting ready to start sooner or later. And I just was looking at some teachers' classrooms and just kind of giving some feedback, some commentary on it. And let's see how this one is. Oh, and some of them are muted because they had music in them. Oh, this is beautiful. I love this one. I absolutely love this one. The only thing is, I don't understand this tablecloth thing. What y'all gonna have to help me out with this table skirt, this fluffy, furry table skirt trend. You're gonna have to help your boy out. I do not understand that. That is not for me. Clearly not for me. I do not get that. So somebody in the chat, let me know what in the world is going on with that. Besides that, though, let's go. Teacher's desk looks good and solid. I love it. Uh-oh. No, that looks great. That's the kidney bean table right here. So if you ever hear a teacher say a kidney bean table, this is a kidney bean table. It looks like kind of like a kidney bean. The other one was called a horseshoe table. Just in case you was wondering. Now, I will say this. I don't see any computers in these classrooms. They may have computers on carts to store them away. Oh, never mind. Took right out my mouth. Just saw it. Shout out to you, teacher. This is a great classroom. All right. I think they did a great job. Some teachers like to, and I don't know if you've ever seen this in your own child's class, when the ceiling lights, a lot of the time the lights are just too harsh over time because you're just sitting under this light all day long. So some teachers will actually put some kind of film. They'll put paintings. They'll put artwork over it, so it kind of dims the light. And you see that she's using her own lamp back there. Some teachers do that. I know I did. I never turned on my overhead lights. I always turned on I had lamps in my classroom, and that's all we used because over time it just wears your eyes out. I can totally see this.
Desk is ready. It's still a little messy. We got everything over here. I got little stations where they'll come and take a picture. Luce is in full force. She's ready. I got the slushy little thing going over here. Y'all saw the tree the other day, the carpet. Here's their they got ready confetti and then these cute little school boxes, or school buses. Here's their folder with everything in it. And then I have done these balloons for years.
Them folders gonna get that work before the end of the year, boy. Them folders gonna be tore up.
All right, let's go. Keep on going. So yeah, here we are. We're ready. Tomorrow's gonna be all about planning. We got the door done. I'll show you the door. There's the door. And then I got us a new mirror. Voice level. So anywho, then here she is. She's ready to roll. She's ready to meet the new little 5th graders. Here's where they got to complete their
That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids she has in that class. Wait, hold on, let me see. 8, that's 9. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. That's 27 kids. Wow. That's a big classroom.
The new little 5th graders. Here's where they got to complete their forms and stuff. So that's it, guys. It's that time, guys. Open house is in 29 minutes. I'm going to give you all a quick tour. If you can believe it, I got it done. So here we go. Here's what I did. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Have a great afternoon. Wish me luck. I'll come back and tell y'all some stories. Remember, kindness is free and make somebody smile today.
All right. This one is the pastel colors. Like, oh yeah, I can get with those. I like regular colors, but no, I can rock with these. That reading corner is out of control. I love it. There's a lot of little people in there too. It's a lot of kids. Great day. And no, I did not speed it up. I don't know why she was moving so fast. There go the kidney bean. Great setup. They got a lot of areas though. She got a lot of areas. I'm hoping that's a great classroom. Like I said, you see a lot of people are using their lights, hanging lights from the ceiling and so on and so forth, because those overhead lights and fluorescent lights over time will really, really tire you out. I think they physically tire you out. That's a good setup.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Evans, and I want to do a welcome to my classroom video. So let's give you a classroom tour. Let's get it. Let's go. So when you first enter the classroom, you're going to see a hello, welcome to 4th grade sign.
So this is a themed classroom. I don't think we've done many. This one is literally a theme. He's going to tell you what it is in a second. But I don't think we've talked about many classrooms that actually legitimately have a theme. And shout out to him. That is a hand-painted sign. Somebody painted that. I think he might have did it. He looks like he's kind of creative like that. So shout out to him. He's already getting it. Look, I like classroom themes, and I like hand-painted or hand-drawn signs. So again, we cooking.
I can do anything. Now we're going. This is the overall view. It's me, the teacher. I have stuff on the board, the desk. So as soon as you walk in the classroom, you see the big banner says, welcome to Mr. Evans' classroom, ELA. I can do anything, music. One of my teaching philosophies is that I use music to make learning fun. So right now we have our banner, then we have our bulletin board. It says, just do it, read it, read, write, achieve. If you can tell, my theme is Nike, just do it. I can do anything. And I have
Not a fan
fuel
of Nike.
station right now. It's Meet the Teacher, so I made a fuel station for my kids to grab a Gatorade as they leave. Let's come to the classroom library. Right here, as you can see, I have my lovely classroom library.
I love it.
And I have all my genre posters up on the walls for the kids. I also have some shoes up there to go with my theme. As I stated, I am an ELA teacher, so let's come on over here and go to my posters. So boom, right here I have all of my different posters. Now, pronouns.
So, like I said, these would have been ones that I would have encouraged him if I was his friend. I would have said, brother, do them by hand. Do them by hand. Just do them by hand. I'll show you how to do them. I mean, they look fantastic, though. He probably bought them off of Teachers Pay Teachers or something like that, or designed them himself even. But I would have said, just go ahead and do those yourself. But this is great, man. Shout out to him.
Adjectives, all that good stuff. Let's go to some more. Boom, right here. I also have some nice little word posters for ELA, my Mr. Evans banner. This is my nice little desk area. Nike, of course. And this is my front of my classroom.
I would have, again, his theme is rocking. I'm all about the theme. It definitely looks like it's an older group of kids. Therefore, I probably would have changed those ABC charts because those look like they were for a first grade teacher. But besides that, though, shout out to him, man. Get it.
Mistakes help you learn. There's nothing that's impossible. I have a little letters on the wall. Stay focused. Good character counts. Now let's get into the calm down corner. For my kids, if you might need a little break or something, let's get into the calm down corner. Right here is my lovely calm down corner. I have a blanket, a little pillow, and I have different stuffed animals that the kids can just hold on to, or, whatever they may need during that time to calm down. It's right here in the calm down corner. Right here are all my different supplies, color pencils, markers, dry erasers, all that good stuff.
That looks just like a man.
Little supplies. Boom.
It looks so much like a guy. Shout out to him. You can tell, though.
And guys, I can't forget my shoe rug that's on the carpet. Hold on. So here's my nice, lovely shoe rug that I have in my classroom. Very nice, feisty aesthetic, very cool. But yeah, y'all, I'm ready for the school year. Mr. Evans checking out. Love y'all. Peace.
Shout out to Mr. Evans. Shout out to Mr. Evans. I'm not 100%, I'm not a team Nike at all. But no, I thought that was good. I like his setup, though. I like the themes. I enjoy the classroom themes. I think they're fun. But shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much, everybody who hopped in. Let me real quick check in and make sure we ain't got no problems, no surprises. Oh, hold on. My niece is asking me a question. All right. Nothing is showing up here. I'm always ready to fight. What are we talking about? I don't know. I got 20. I asked a question and I got 25 XP, but then it disappeared, and so I didn't XP. So I thought it was taken off. I don't know what happened. I didn't take anything off, and I don't see anything. And I don't know what is going on. All right, let me just real quick see what we are talking about. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you, everybody who's hopped up in here. We got another good one planned this evening. We're just going through some fun things going on in the chat. Why would it get censored? I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what the parameters are. Somebody was asking what are the parameters for special ed now. I don't know the exact parameters, but parent can't just say his or her child just is special ed. They can't do that. There has to be a true evaluation by a professional school psychologist, a school administrator, the teacher, all need to see and understand that the child has some. And there's so many ways that a child could be quote unquote in special ed. So no, it's not like that though. You can't just say, hey, my child's special ed, and they get in to be, no, that wouldn't be the case. Shout out to, what's SC Dog said, been a member for how long? Been a member for 6 months. Are you covering the debate between Candace and Andrew live tomorrow morning? And you know it. I got that on the schedule to talk about as well, SC, and I will go over all of the plans for tomorrow as well. So have no fear. I got you covered. We will be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's the plan, Lord willing. But I have some thoughts about it. We're going to get there and talk about that as well. All right. I do have another question for you, though. Do you tip? Do you give a tip? Are you a tipper? Do you do tips? Are you a tipper? I want to know what in the chat. Yay or no? Yay or nay? Put tip in the chat. Are you a tipper? And for the general sense, like waiters at restaurants, maybe barista at the coffee house, your lawn care person, do you tip or are you, what? Most people are saying, okay, cool. All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about this because this is one of the aftermaths of the FIFA World Cup. And World Cup ended and we just kind of moved on, right? But one of the aftermaths is that Europeans came here and foreigners came here to the United States, and they're not familiar with what we do in tipping. And they don't understand it because they don't tip in their native country, their home country. So tipping became kind of a little controversial topic. So I found a couple of discussions around tipping. Now, the tipping that we're talking about is what's basically called tipping culture. And it just seems like I don't know. I think it might have gone a little bit too far. Let me know what y'all think. Let's get at it. Green Hearts in the chat, you can hear.
Can we talk about tipping culture for a second? I just ordered a large cappuccino.
She ordered a large cappuccino. All right. I want y'all to put in the chat how much do you think this large cappuccino costs? I'm not going to tell you where she is. You just put it what you think. How much do you think a large cappuccino costs? I'm just going to put them back up a little bit so we get a little running start. In the chat, like how much do you think it costs? A large cappuccino. Not how much would you pay? Now, that's not the question I asked. But how much do you think it would cost? Great day. Okay. All right. I like it. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Dang, you got it down to the pennies. Okay. I see y'all. Okay. And this number was crazy when she said this. I said, y'all are wild, man. I would unequivocally get moved back and start using a Keurig. Let's back it up. Let's go.
Can we talk about tipping culture for a second? I just ordered a large cappuccino. It was $11.95. Then the barista.
$11.95 is absolutely diabolical. How are you paying $11 for a drink? And yes, I was taken aback. I was clutching my pearls. I'm like, how in the world are you paying $11? Might as well call it $12 for a cup of coffee with foamy milk. That's crazy work.
Slowly turns the iPad around and you see you have 15%, 25%, or 35% option. Now, I know this is a tipping culture and it's a huge part of the culture here, and I genuinely don't mind tipping, but I'm sorry. Did you personally harvest those beans one by one from Guatemala or something? Because, I don't know, you help milk the cow? I'm struggling to understand the math here. And then everyone behind me in line is pretending that they're not looking at me. And the barista also doesn't look at me, but she's cleaning the machine and I feel judged, you know? I feel like they know exactly which button I'm gonna press. And I panic, but I hit costume tip and I type $1 because, come come on, let's do the math. I work 4 days a week. I buy 2 coffees a day. That's almost $500 a month on coffee, okay? At some point, I have to stop pretending I have enough money to fund a nonprofit. Just don't think tipping should feel like you're being publicly audited, because, you know, once there's an audience, it's not tipping anymore. It's protection money.
Have you ever wondered why tipping is such an ingrained part of it?
So I'm gonna come back to this young brother right here. This is a very interesting perspective he has. I don't know if I agree with it 100%. Let me do it like, what happened to me? Okay, let's do it like this, Jason. But okay, I'm gonna tell you one way to beat tipping culture is to pay with cash. If you pay with cash, you don't have to worry about tipping culture or being pressured to tip, because there's not an iPad to do. There's literally, at this moment at least, everywhere I've gone where I've paid cash for something, they don't ask me for a tip. If I go to the exact same place and use a card, that's when they ask you for a tip. So I would say, have you a little bit of cash. If you know you're going to pay $11.95 for a cappuccino, which was not a large cup either. That better have been some really good coffee. Just have some cash on you that you will beat and you can still tip the people, but you don't have to feel like you have to, or you're like, you know, we're slowing down the transaction unless I tip you, which is still just diabolical in my opinion. Okay, let's bring this in, because this, and I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I think the gentleman, I don't think he's making it up. I've heard very similar stories in times past, but I want to hear what y'all think.
It's protection money.
Have you ever wondered why tipping is such an ingrained part of American culture? We all know tipping has become so normalized in 2026. Even grocery stores now are asking you to leave a tip for the grocery.
For real? A grocery store is doing this now? That is crazy work.
Groceries you bag during self-checkout. But how did we get here? Most of us view tipping as just a normal part of going out, a simple matter of good manners. But if you look at the history, the American tipping structure is actually a legally enforced wage system with roots deeply embedded in the Jim Crow era. As with most things in this country, it always starts with a racist past. To understand how we got here, we have to look at Europe. Tipping began as a medieval European custom where aristocrats gave extra coins to servants for doing a good job. In the 1800s, wealthy Americans visiting Europe brought this habit home, mostly to show off. At first, the rest of America absolutely hated it. Critics called it classist and undemocratic, arguing that relying on tips forced one citizen into financial subordination to another, which went against everything the country claimed to stand for. The turning point, however, came in 1865, right after the Civil War. Slavery was abolished, but true economic freedom did not follow. Newly freed Black Americans were shut out of almost every major industry by Jim Crow laws, so they took whatever service jobs they could find, working as waiters, barbers, and railroad porters. To save on labor costs, the businesses that hired them decided to pay them a base salary of exactly $0. They expected these workers to live entirely on whatever change customers chose to leave on the table. Tipping didn't spread across America because people suddenly became more generous. It spread because it was the perfect loophole to exploit Black labor without the legal obligations of ownership. Ergo, slavery. Eventually, this corporate habit became federal law. During the Great Depression, when Congress was debating the first minimum wage in the 1930s, Southern politicians refused to pass the bill if it guaranteed a fair wage for industries dominated by Black workers. Anything to oppress Black people, right? To get the bill passed, a compromise was made, a legal carve-out that created a separate, much lower minimum wage just for tipped employees. We are still living with the legacy of that compromise today. The federal tip minimum wage has been frozen at $2.13 an hour since 1991. That's over 30 years without a raise. The modern tip jar didn't evolve from a place of generosity. It's the direct descendant of a system designed to deny certain people a guaranteed wage. So the next time you calculate a tip, remember, it's not about etiquette. It's about a historical loophole that still dictates who gets paid. If you're not American and you question the American system, like why we tip, why we don't have adequate health care, why we don't have adequate public transportation, why? 9 times out of 10, everything in this country circles back down to racism. Yet we're still here. Stay Black, stay blessed.
I'm going to make tipping make sense to you. Tips used to be optional, a bonus you gave for exceptional service. The restaurant paid the server a full wage, and tips were extra appreciation on top. But like all things, the pendulum swings. Restaurant owners realized they could make you pay their employees directly and keep more profit. So they lobbied to create a separate minimum wage for tipped workers, $2.13 an hour in some states. Here's the part they don't want you to understand. Tips aren't going to the server anymore. They're subsidizing the owner's payroll. You're not being generous. You're doing the restaurant's job. They're running a business where the customer pays for the food and pays the staff, while the owner pockets the difference. And now it's not just restaurants. Coffee shops, food trucks, iPad checkouts everywhere, all asking for 20% tips on a $4 coffee. Because they realized you'll pay their workers for them. They guilt you with that little screen. They make you the bad guy if you don't tip. Meanwhile, the owner, who's actually underpaying everyone, stays invisible. And anybody who understands capitalism knows employers will always choose guilt over paying a living wage if you let them. You're not cheap. You're covering someone else's responsibility. We may not see each other again, so make sure to follow this page.
All right. Okay, before she jumps in, I can totally understand. I've heard that's how tipping got started here in the United States. I just want to return back to the world where tips were given for phenomenal service. I think if we just went back to that and said the service was phenomenal, therefore I'm tipping, versus you just did something and I'm going to give you some tip. And I think part of the reason, in my opinion, what drove it well off the rails is the gig culture, the DoorDashes, the Postmates, that kind of situation there. I think because those persons literally work on tips, and it's just they infuse so many of them into the system that tipping has become off the rails like we've seen now. Because you could just say, I'm not going to a restaurant that requires tipping, right? But your Uber, your DoorDash, your Postmates, your all that kind of stuff like that brought those people to your house. So I do think that that's part of the problem. But I'm not a fan of DoorDash at all. I don't know how people do it, truth be told. I don't know how people do it at all. But let's finish this up. I thought this was a great summary about it. Let's go.
Tipping culture has gotten out of control. It has. Let's just be honest. Do we even know what we're tipping for anymore?
No.
I have a question. If the definition of tipping is an extra reward going above the regular stated service as an extra payment, then if you're not going above the service that you already at a median should be offering, why am I tipping you? Now, I want to make it clear. I am an excellent tipper. I will tip just because I feel as if people, especially in this economy, things are tough. So I have it, why not? But it's got to a point now when I go into the Starbucks drive-thru, right, I owe you more than what you have done as in giving me and making my coffee. So if I'm supposed to tip you, remember the definition is going over and beyond as an extra reward. Where is the extra coming from? If your job is to make my coffee and hand it to me, that is what I am paying for, right? The product. I can't receive the product that I'm paying for without you giving it to me. Then where is the tip coming in? Jimmy John's, you make my sandwich. I ordered one sandwich. You make my sandwich. You hand me that sandwich. Why am I giving you an extra tip? I really want somebody to explain this to me because maybe I am missing something. Now, I'm not talking about a sit-down restaurant. I feel as if in all of those arenas, unless you just have a terrible waiter or waitress, you should be tipping. But for all of these quick fast food places and all of that, going to get ice cream, I don't mind a little tip jar. But when you're turning the tablet around, asking for 20% on top of what I already paid, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing it. I'm not. And there used to be, I used to have a little bit like, oh, like I have an obligation, I have to tip. No. You turn that around, I hit no tip and I turn it right back around to you, baby. How about we actually do our job and we don't expect anything more unless we're giving above and beyond service? What a concept.
You know what? I agree with her. And, I'm wondering this. If you are somebody who's tip averse, let's just say it like that. I mean, if you're going to different places all day long, you're getting tipped to death. I understand. I totally understand. I wonder how many places have embraced this tip ideology. Because I saw it at my Starbucks recently. At the drive-thru, you scan the card, and the woman literally brought the iPad. I'd never seen it before. Never seen it before when you're using the app. I've never seen it. But anyway, and you just no tip and keep it moving. But I wonder how many people have stopped going places because they don't want to do that. So, maybe your company saw 100 people a day, but now it's kind of whittled down to maybe 92, because there's 8 people who just don't want to do that, don't want to feel guilted into tipping in the drive-thru or feel guilted into tipping at the register for a basic. Now we're not talking about a service above and beyond, but we're just talking about the basic. Here's your beverage, and where's my tip at? That's just crazy work. But what do y'all think about it? Why are you going through the drive-thru for coffee? Listen, if you go to a restaurant, tip the workers or stay your bougie butt at home. I agree with you. I agree 100%. I deliver from Target an order of, say, $350. The app says you can tip 20%. That's $70. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I guess that's 20%. That is intense right there. Okay, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Those kind of delivery options, Kroger delivers, and I didn't realize Target does it. That's a lot. Wow. Ooh. How long till your Amazon person wants a tip? Amazon said, I'd be hitting that thing without blinking. I don't even be thinking about it. No tip. Yeah, I'm definitely team carry some cash. So okay, so here's another question I have. I wonder if places like that, again, like my scenario here, you got 100 people that come to your business every day, is whittled down to 92. But I wonder how many people, have you seen an uptick in cash? Because remember, cash is better than those digital services anyway, because the proprietor has to pay the service charge. Same thing with DoorDash and Postmates and all that stuff. There's a fee that's attached to it when the Uber Eats app is applied at your restaurant or wherever you are. So I wonder how many that is. I would love to see a study on that. What's it? Okay. No lies detected about cheap, but expected the best service. Right. Thank you, SC Dog. I appreciate you. All right. So tonight, this is just Thankful Thursday. We're just having a good time. I want to say I'm thankful to all of you all. Let me make sure I got it right. So at the current moment, I mentioned the other day that we're almost at 100 items that have been sold in my merch store, and we're currently at 95. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for picking up shirts. Got your hat, got your honk if you're going to sue Candace Owens, bumper sticker, all that stuff. So thank you so much for checking out the merch store. I really do appreciate it. All right, we got some good ones here. So the other day, I want to say again, thank y'all for that. So the other day, I don't know how you all got me started looking into this phony, fake, false professor at Cambridge University. I don't know who did it. Raise your hand. Whoever did it, come on up here to the front of the church. Whoever it was that got me started watching this, because this story has been fascinating to me. I probably watched 3 newscasts about it yesterday on the way to take President Firstborn to college. This thing is the craziest story. It is the craziest story. And if you're not familiar, there's a gentleman at Cambridge University who was able to become a professor, and apparently everything on his resume Everything, all his accolades, everything was made up. Now, you might say, well, it can't be everything is made up. Well, he's writing a memoir. He wrote a memoir, I'm sorry. And the memoir was so egregious that the local Telegraph, the newspaper, Telegram, please forgive me, was just highlighting some of the most ridiculous stories that this man has come up with and in his memoirs. And that's what kind of kicked off these people researching and looking into his background. He ended up resigning from Cambridge. I don't know. He might probably need to go to jail. He probably need to be going to jail. So anyway, I don't know how y'all got me watching this guy, but this guy is hilarious. And you don't have to tip him though. You do not have to tip him at all. So anyway, let me bring this in. Shout out to Cherie Denise, fantastic content creator. I'll make sure the link is in the description. I don't think it's in there already. I'll make sure the link is in the description. Let me bring this in because I thought it was super hilarious. So let's bring it in with no further ado. Green Hearts in the chat where you can hear.
One of the big complaints that the Telegraph had about this book was how often Jason tries to paint himself as this very noble, merciful individual. So he's constantly telling these stories that don't make any damn sense. What do you mean that after the lecture, some people came up and asked you for a character reference, but the last time that you'd seen them, they were beating your face in and you now have epilepsy? What kind of character reference can you write for somebody who gave you epilepsy? Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Cherie Denise, and today we are going to talk about some people who cannot stop lying to save their life. Nothing that they say about themselves, their lives, who they are, their identities, all of it lies. And while most of us have told a lie or two in our time to our discredit, we usually feel really bad if we do, or even if it was a lie to soothe somebody, to make an uncomfortable situation more comfortable, to avoid hurting somebody's feelings, we're sort of left with a sense of discomfort that we did that. And that doesn't seem to be even a blip on the conscience of the next three people we're going to discuss. Now, the first person we're going to talk about is a guy named Jason Arday, who just this past week resigned from Cambridge. He was a professor of sociology of education, I believe is what he taught, but he had to resign his post. Now, people have had their questions about him because he's been known to tell a tale or two that seemed rather far-fetched. But then he decided he was going to write a memoir called Great and Unfortunate Things. And the unfortunate thing is that he cannot manage to tell the truth. So the Telegraph got their hands on the galley of this upcoming book that's supposed to be published on August 27th. The Telegraph was beside themselves because nary a word spoken in this book could possibly be true. The claims, the outrageousness of it all, it just was so incredible that this Cambridge professor thought he could come forward with these tall tales. And I'm talking about claims so wild that as I was reading the articles in the Telegraph that were revealing the truths and the dishonesties about this man's narrative, I was busting out laughing. I just could not even believe that anybody would come out with some of this stuff. Like, these are lies on par with the stuff that you would say as like a third grader. You know, like, my dad's so strong, he lifted the house off the foundation. Like, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, Junior, tell yourself what you need to. You know, it's like just things that are so incredible that you wouldn't even waste breath. A normal person would not waste breath to even say these things. You know, there's nothing cunning or clever about a lot of the things he's saying too. That's the thing that's so surprising. It's like, why are you even bothering to tell this lie? Like, it's just unbelievable what you're saying. It is not true. You know, I mean, if he had said that he jumped out of a tree and flew, that would be just about as credible as some of the other things he's saying. Like these are just like crazy lies. To get into it, this guy, Jason Arday, had come to prominence around the whole 2020 BLM movement. And obviously he lives in England, and he is a Ghanaian immigrant, grew up in poverty, Black guy. And so his story was one that was very easy for people who wanted to show their superior humanity to glob onto and to promote this man to great heights, regardless of the fact that the things coming out of his mouth never made any sense. Now, he had made a lot of claims before this memoir, which should have made the people who published his memoir really concerned that potentially he was incapable of producing a work of honesty and truth. Because before this book ever came out, he was saying outrageous things like one time when he was a kid, somebody sent a severed pig's head to his doorstep. They never called the police about it. It was just like an unfortunate, oh, let me open the door and there's a giant severed pig's head on the porch. Okay, whatever. Maybe that did happen, you know. I don't know what voodoo could have been being practiced in his neighborhood, potentially. He also says that somebody was sending him bullets and bananas in the mail. Why that would be, I don't know. He also made claims that as a Cambridge professor, a knifeman showed up on campus wielding the knife and demanding that he resign. Somehow that resolved itself. And that's the way a lot of these claims go, that he will like tell something outrageous, but when people want to know details, he'll act like he's too gracious and too caring of the other person to really describe their mental illness. So somebody comes on campus wielding a knife, but you know, he wants to be merciful to this person and they were probably just in a hard spot. So he's not going to go into it. He just wanted to let you know that that had happened. He also said that he'd been hit by a car and sent into a coma, and that he also raised £300,000 for charity. And all of those things are pretty crazy. So, well, having a severed pig's head on your porch as a kid and getting bullets and bananas in the mail on the daily and a knifeman wielding a knife in your eyes when you finally get the dream job you always wanted, and the fact that you were hit by a car and sent into a coma, and the fact that you raised £300,000, well, all of that sounds pretty wild. He saved his better lies for his book. In this book that he has written entitled Great and Unfortunate Things, he has made such wild claims as he was nonverbal autistic until just turning 12. But
insane.
He couldn't read until he was 18. He was illiterate. And when he'd been a nonverbal child, he couldn't understand sound at all. It wasn't like he understood what was being said to him. He didn't understand it at all. It was all just a bunch of noise. Curiously, his mother, who wanted to instill in him this human right to protestation, she took him to all of these political protests, and this is where people would be, you know, screaming and carrying on. Yet this nonverbal autistic child who could not utter a singular word until the age of 12, who could not handle the sound of a fork being scraped across a plate, was regularly thrown into the chaos of a protest and could to this day articulately tell you what everybody around him was saying and doing and the general vibe of the atmosphere, except for the fact that when he was being taken to these things, he was mute and incapable of understanding what was happening around him.
Allegedly.
Oh, well,
right.
Which is it, Jason? Well, if only that were all he had to say for himself.
That's it, Jason?
He says that he appeared on a TV show called 7 Up, but that show had aired before he was even born. So I'm not really sure how he managed to pull that one off.
He went back in time.
He says that at some point in his life, he went to Brazil to install water pumps, although the charity that he claims he did this with says they have no protocol for having volunteers come to install water pumps. That's not what they do. When you give to the water pump charity, you're not volunteering your time. They would like to have your money, but they have professionals who do this. But he was in Brazil. And for a later story, it's going to be necessary that he was in Brazil because there was a prophetess he ran into who had great things to speak over his life. But of course, nobody could have done that for him in England. He had to go to some distant, impoverished place where their poverty enabled them to speak truths that our rich Western ways can't manage. One of his more dubious claims, apparently he had a brain tumor. He discovered this while he was trying to write his PhD. Because even though he was a nonverbal autistic until the age of 12 and couldn't speak a word until then, and even though he couldn't read or write until he was 18, but for the gracious goodness of his then girlfriend, Debbie, who took his instruction as her task in life, despite having no formal education whatsoever until Debbie came into his life.
Shout out to Debbie.
Suddenly, we are being fast forwarded to, oh, but he was a PhD. He was writing his PhD. Well, yes. Sadly for him, while he was writing his PhD, he found out he had a brain tumor, and the brain tumor erased his memory.
This is something that really I didn't understand either. Shout out to Debbie, though. In this story, if you're wondering, we're listening to the Jason Arday story, the professor at Cambridge. I don't know why this story is so interesting to me, but if he was having all these problems, he was up to 18 or 12 whenever. Like, when did he actually finish elementary school, grade school? When did he finish school? And then he just pops up and he's at a PhD level. That's a bachelor's, master's level. I mean, you finish your bachelor's and your master's, then now you're going to get your PhD. When did this this dude's stories are absolutely insane. And they're actually going to get more insane.
So then he had to relearn everything that he was trying to write his thesis about. So as you can imagine, that was a tough one. Perhaps that's why his PhD is full of plagiarized passages from another student.
That's crazy.
At the same time that he had his brain tumor and was losing his memory, he had also run 600 miles in 6 days. It could be that his brain just wasn't able to handle 600 miles in 6 days, and so his brain tumor just erased his memory as a coping mechanism. You know, who can tell how the brain works? But if you're staggered by the fact that he ran 600 miles in 6 days, sit down, because that's not all he managed, all right? In his time, he has run 30 marathons in 35 days. Yes, that sounds impressive, but wait, he also had a broken leg. So he claims that he had a broken leg and that his leg swelled up to twice its size. But he pressed on, and that even though he had one elephant leg, he managed to run 9 marathons after having broken the leg. 9 marathons. It's so ridiculous. Who would, first of all, running 600 miles in 6 days like he wants to tell us that he did, that's bananas, okay? Stop already. But now you want to tell me that you also ran 30 marathons in 35 days, 9 of those marathons with a broken leg that had swollen to twice its size. I mean, just what? But, you know, probably the reason he was able to do this is because he was also a semi-professional footballer. So he had athletic stamina and endurance, you know, and when you've been a semi-professional footballer, what is 30 marathons in 35 days? You know, what's 600 miles in 6 days?
What is it? Yeah.
He had it in him. But wait, it gets so much better. He says that when he was a young man, both he and his mother were constantly being mugged. When his mother was mugged, she was heavily pregnant and with her autistic son in tow and a 1-year-old. She was mugged, and when the mugger took her purse and turned it upside down looking for whatever valuables he could find, and wasn't able to find what he had hoped he would find in this heavily pregnant woman's bag, he turns to her and says, "I want more." And Jason describes his mother as a fierce African Black woman. So you're anticipating that she's really going to say something like searingly brilliant to this guy who would deign to mob her, this heavily pregnant woman with a autistic nonverbal on one side and a 1-year-old on the other. Like, you think she's really going to take him down? You think Jason's going to retell a story to you that's going to make you go like, you know, slow clap for his mom? Her response is this nonsensical statement of, "You've just robbed a heavily pregnant woman with a 1-year-old. What do you think I have in my bag? You've already taken all I have." When I tell you, because we're going to get into how badly this book is written, that is like a perfect example. He'll build a story up so you think he's really going to say something, and then that's how it ends. Okay, so his mom was mugged. It's his personal mugging that had me laid out on the floor. I was dying laughing. So he says that he was mugged at a bus stop as a young man. And if you'll believe it, the police actually hunted down his persecutors, 4 of these boys who beat him up so badly that he developed epilepsy because of the beating. The police find the guys, but then, you know, they go on to pursue their, and this is a quote from his book, they went on to pursue their education and their personal lives. So even though he had been beaten to a bloody pulp so badly that he now had epilepsy, the police just kind of let the guys go because let's let them finish their education. Okay. If that was where it ended, that would be amusing, but it gets so much better. Jason defies the odds of his nonverbal autism and goes on to become a Cambridge professor, as we've established. During one of his lectures, who should show up but 2 of the 4 hooligans who had beaten him and given him epilepsy? If you'll believe it, after the lecture, they saunter up and ask him to write them character references for an upcoming job.
You said they beat him into
and he does. What? Some years down the road, one of the hooligans has a child, and they decide to call on Jason and ask him if he wouldn't be the godfather to their hooligan baby. If he had written nothing else in this book but that story, I would have just wanted to march right up to him and laugh in his face. You were mugged at a bus stop. The police know who did it. They let them go so they can continue to pursue their education. You rise to Cambridge professor level of intelligence. After one of your lectures, 2 of the 4 come up and ask you for character references, and then you write them. And then later, one of them asks you to be their godfather to their child, and you can't stumble over yourself fast enough to say yes. Like, one of the big complaints that the Telegraph had about this book was how often Jason tries to paint himself as this very noble, merciful individual. So he's constantly telling these stories that don't make any damn sense. What do you mean that after the lecture, some people came up and asked you for a character reference, but the last time that you'd seen them, they were beating your face in and you now have epilepsy? What kind of character reference can you write for somebody who gave you epilepsy? Anyway, he has also made the claim in his time that he has written a book, which he said he had entitled Being Young Black Male, Challenging the Dominant Discourse. And apparently he did write this book, but the publisher abandoned it years ago. But he's still wandering around telling us that he wrote that book. Man, I can check that on Amazon. Like, what kind of a claim is this? You know, I've written this book, but it doesn't even matter because he actually has written a book, even crazier than Being Young, Black, and Male, you know, Challenging the Dominant Discourse. I mean, can you imagine picking that book up and being like, I can't wait to read this? But now he has a book that the publishers have greenlighted. It's already, you know, been purchased to be serialized. There are claims that he's going to make £1 million off of this. And every single bit of it lies and fabrications. When the Telegraph came out to talk about how bad this book was, he then had to resign from Cambridge because all the things they said were true. He's not even denying it. He's not even trying to fight this. So he turns in a resignation letter. Obviously, he realizes that his job is on the chopping block. And this letter that he wrote, AI, it begs the question, did AI also write this book? As it appears, he had a co-writer. So it wasn't AI, but he definitely let this other girl named Eve Claxton write the book. Apparently, and this is according to the many different Telegraph articles that I read concerning it, it's one of the worst written memoirs you've ever read. And it's not even because it's full of all of these ridiculous claims and fabrications and stories so false that it defies belief. You would think that a book so full of ridiculousness would at least be entertaining. But apparently the stories are bland, they lack details, all of the redemptive arcs are so cliche that it's just not even worth your time. The book is divided into angels and demons. Those who believed that the nonverbal autistic was going to rise to great acclaim and that he would be known the world over, and those who had their doubts about whether the nonverbal autistic would rise to the challenge of being known around the world for his deep intelligence. Apparently, his mother was his ultimate champion, and because of his mother's love, he was able to not only gain speech, but also go on to become an elite academic. I mean, who knew that mother's love could do so much? He's really interested in making analogies to himself and some of the sorrier characters in pop culture. He loves to describe himself as being similar to Forrest Gump. And I'm like, well, but Forrest Gump never overcame his disabilities in that he didn't become a smart person. In fact, I think that's what he told Jenny. I'm not a smart man. But he did do a lot, but with his disability. That's why it was so profound that he'd managed so much. It's not like he outgrew it, but he loves to refer to him and Forrest Gump as being one and the same. I guess the running.
He was getting
I missed the part though where Forrest Gump broke his leg and just completed 9 marathons. He's also really taken with Rocky. The Rocky movies where Sylvester Stallone plays the boxer.
Shout out to Stallone.
And he's constantly referencing Rocky as though that is a profound reference that should stir us all. And he writes in the book, this is a quote, "What I took from the story of Rocky is that if I didn't have the skills to do something, I had heart. And if I kept going, I could make it to the final bell." And that's what I'm saying. Like, the writing is not compelling. It's not blood stirring. It's not inspirational. It's just really sloppy and dull. Rocky took it to the final bell because he had heart, just like me. Okay. The book, like I said, is divided into those who believed in him and those who didn't believe in him. And one of the big themes throughout this book is that those who believed in him, the angels, they were constantly prophesying over him, almost in a fairy tale way. Like when he was born, the midwife who attended his mother, like, whispered over him, "Now this is a boy." And she turns to the mother, "Take care of him. He will be something great." And like, it was from that the mother constantly looked towards the future for a time when he could shake off his autism and his nonverbal and his illiteracy and, become the person that the midwife said he was supposed to be. He also tells a story about how when he was in Brazil putting in those water pumps, a poor village woman staggers over to him to look him in the eye and mused to herself, but loud enough for him to hear, that she had just encountered a great man. Somebody was going to do something amazing, but there would be hardship and trouble in the path until this great man with the big heart could become something. It's like, who is telling you to write this garbage? It's like, if you are going to write a bunch of lies, couldn't we do better than the poor prophetess who stumbles out of the hovel and her poverty enables her to see the truth that, here's this person with the heart of gold. Everybody else has discredited him because of his years of nonverbal autism, but here he is putting in water pumps. Who could have known? And whispering to herself, but just so he could hear. It's also theatrical and kooky. As I've mentioned already,
it's crazy.
Because of the kindness of his first girlfriend, he was able to read and write thanks to her diligence and tutelage. And
Wait, how do you have a
apparently
girlfriend
Debbie, even though the father criticized her at length for even believing that his son could become anything, Debbie knew.
But how did Debbie date him? Hold on. This guy's story is never ending crazy.
That he could. And so she would get into sparring matches with the father. And as the book quotes, she would tell the father, "There's something about him that's so special. I can't put my finger on it, but one day he's going to do something and the whole world will see."
He did
And so
something.
certain
The
was
whole world
Debbie
see
that
he's
she
a
proceeded to
fool.
write him over 100 handwritten cards with the same message. Each card said the same thing. And it would always say something like, "You're going to be great. You're going to do something and everyone will see." And that seems to be something that Jason, quite aside from the lies that he tells constantly, the whole book needs you to believe he's a great person. He needs to be recognized by everybody as being not just a good guy, a great guy, not just somebody who is a good scholar and who tries his best at something, but he needs to be exceptional and famous for his exceptional ways. This whole book wants you to feel like you've had an encounter with greatness, almost with like a godlike ability. And all of these stories are in service to this idea that you have the great privilege of intersecting with his time on earth. It's so weird. Well, of course, if there's angels in their story, there have to be demons because he needs to let you know that he was just constantly up against it, mostly in the form of teachers who didn't even bother to give him an education and doctors who told his mother that he was just a vegetable, he wasn't there, and that there was no hope for him, and that he'd become nothing. He has great ire for this social worker that he and his mother ran into when they went to this career place trying to get him some work. He was 18 years old at the time. The place was called Connections. And this social worker kind of threw up her hands and very bluntly told him that as an 18-year-old illiterate who couldn't do sums, she just wasn't even sure what to do with him. Maybe he could work at a grocery store, but she wasn't even sure if that would work. And usually she had a couple of options, maybe a couple of different jobs that people with little skills and no abilities could do. But for him, I mean, she didn't even know what to tell him. He was told by this woman, there's just nothing out there for a person like you. And maybe she did say it that way. I don't know. But his Black African mother of great strength, the one who debuted such brilliance to the thug who took her purse, she rises up in great indignation and decides that she's going to lay out for this woman some more of her Black wisdom. And she tells this lady that she can't even believe that this woman would sit there and have the gall to tell her that her 18-year-old illiterate child who can't do sums is going to amount to nothing in life. In fact, she goes one step further. She tells this lady, you better write this date down because this is actually the best day of your life. This is a quote from the book. She tells the lady, this is the best day of your life because one day you're going to be able to say that you met Jason Arday.
What?
So just put that in your pipe and smoke it. And they get up and walk out. And little did the social worker know, Jason was going to go and be something. Jason was the kind of person who could run 30 marathons in 35 days, 9 on a broken leg. So who do you think he is, social worker lady? How dare you tell him that because he's an illiterate 18-year-old who can't do sums, there's no work out there for him? You just watch him. Just watch him run 9 marathons on a broken leg. The entire book sounds hilarious if it weren't so hard to get through. The Telegraph gave many examples of the poor writing of this book, but it all can be summed up in that it's all just very vague and impersonal and uninspiring. Even though he's talking about his own life, and even though he's talking about stories that, if true, should be very inspiring, he isn't able to give any details about how these things happened. He'll just say it happened, but then he won't tell the story of how it happened.
Correct.
So it all, as the Telegraph says, feels like a list of accomplishments on like a LinkedIn profile. It's all talk to highlight your skills, all talk to highlight how, but for you, this work project would have fallen to the wayside type of talk. And all of it is uninteresting because it's all so inflated. So much of it is flavored in the favor of the person discussing their skill set because, of course it is. It's there to impress you, so you will hire them. And according to the Telegraph, that's the flavor of this entire book. That was their analogy. This reads as a very, very, very long and very, very boring LinkedIn profile. And can you imagine having a story like I ran 600 miles in 6 days with a brain tumor that caused me to have my memory erased, which then caused me to forget the thesis of the PhD that I was writing. So then I had to relearn it. How can that story be boring? Well, it is if you're lying. There's this idea about people that if you find a person boring, it's because they're not telling you the truth about themselves. And I kept thinking about that as I was reading this. I thought the reason this is boring is because all of it's fake. It's all lies, one lie after another. People who tell you the truth about themselves and are willing to be vulnerable and honest and really tell you the highs and lows of something that they went through, that's never boring because the truth isn't. I am astounded that this book is going to continue to go to publication. It is at this point, August 27th, but I imagine that it will not do nearly as well as it might have. I also think that the delusion to write a memoir when immediately people will begin to fact check the things that you've said. I can imagine willingly walking into the arena, knowing that I will be condemned to death in popular opinion by writing a memoir that is so full of lies. Can you imagine the blinding optimism, the endless self-delusion that would have to be a part of a person's character? To write a book full of lies and then to be willing to put that out there and expect that it will be applauded and praised and earn you money and respect. Obviously, this is a person who has a chronic lying condition.
Clearly.
And
clearly
is so impulsive that they would feel they'll have the capacity to handle any naysayers who decide to pop up out of the woodwork, who might challenge you on a point or two. I can imagine in a person's personal life telling some real whoppers. I can imagine a person would feel like they could get away with that. And maybe because he has told so many lies and yet somehow he was a Cambridge professor, he really doesn't think that the rules of social engagement have anything to do with him. He can do whatever he wants in society. He can say what he wants and claim what he will because even though he plagiarized his PhD, he's still a Cambridge professor. So what if he writes a memoir full of lies? What are they going to do?
What are you going to do?
Well, it's not 2020 anymore, and BLM's kind of over. So I think this large leeway that people were allowing him to have, that is no longer part of the common discourse anymore. And people want you to be held to account, and they will hold him to account. So, he's resigned from his own job, even though he had to write his resignation letter with AI, if that tells you anything about him.
Yeah.
But I don't see where he goes from here. But, you might think a person could be down and we'll never hear from them again. Enter our next story. Do you guys remember that woman named Rachel Dolezal? And she...
Hold on, we're gonna take a quick station break. Shout out. We'll take a quick station break. I just find this story fascinating. If y'all want, let me know, Green Hearts, if y'all want to hear about the last two examples that she gives about people who just can't stop lying, let me know. But I do want to say thank you so much to SC Dog in the building. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Reference letter for the dude who gave him epilepsy. He makes a striking first impression. That's hilarious. Shout out for sure. Okay, we are going to watch it, but I have a crazy body cam for you. So we're going to take like a 12-minute jaunt, side quest, if you will. This one right here is crazy work. I don't know how this happened. And so I'm going to ask you this. If a police officer pulls over on the side of the road to help a woman change a tire, how do they turn it into a full-on chase? What happens? Let me know, what do y'all think happened? Why in the world would a police officer who just pulled over to help a woman change a tire turn it into a full-on police chase with all the shenanigans of a police chase? Yeah, this is going to be uh-oh for sure. I'll come back and finish up the Rachel Dolezal for sure. Like, what happened? She had warrants. Okay. Oh, it smells like weed or alcohol. Okay. Found drugs in the trunk. Okay, I like it. Outstanding warrants. Okay, let's see where y'all are. Let's see. Let me pull this one in. I'm taking a station break. We're taking a station break today, Jason. This one right here is crazy work. Green Hearts in the chat where you can hear.
Yep. I have a impact wrench. I'll do you one better. Give me 1 second. I'll come help you.
5,376, 362 Rohan.
This thing's been here for a couple days, huh?
It has, yeah.
Just blew a tire. It's not broken down or anything?
No, it's just tired.
Let me grab this for you.
Thank you so much.
You already have it jacked up?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of. It's a heavy one. You should grab this.
She wanted to see a police officer in the back.
Yeah.
Hey, give it.
How old is that thing?
He's a miniature Dachshund. He won't get much bigger.
It's a little hamster.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You got your little wrench? I don't think I have the right size for this. Yeah, I don't know what size of weird lug nuts you got, but I do not have the correct size for this. You can try your 4-way. 76, go ahead.
Violation of probation, misdemeanor theft, felony theft. I'm trying to confirm it now.
Got it?
Yep.
You have to hammer it on there?
Yeah.
One at a time.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, don't thank me yet. What's your birthday?
I was muted. Oh my gosh. I haven't done that in a long time. Shout out. Okay, so watch how he goes from roadside assistance to I'm going to need you to go ahead and put your hands behind your back. Look how smooth he does. He's going to do it pretty slick. So we already know that she has outstanding warrants. Shout out to whoever said she has outstanding warrants. But watch how he does it.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, don't thank me yet. What's your birthday? What's your birthday? What are the last 4 of your social? What's your name? What's your name?
Ashley Cox.
Do you have your ID on you?
I don't think I do, really.
Whose car is this?
This is my cousin's.
You just throwing that in the back seat? Throwing that in the back seat?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Main reason I stopped is I saw that billboard. Then I pull up here and it says 40 road. I'm like, well, I wish I would have known that before I got off the highway, but you're all done, huh?
I'm good, I appreciate you.
I think so,
Well,
Deb.
thanks.
All right.
I think
Just
it
go to
is.
this passenger side window real quick if you would. Give me some info.
I can say if I have my ID. I don't think I do, though.
Give me a second. What's your social?
Huh?
Your social?
Hey, hush it. Sparky, I need a lighter.
Come back here.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give you one more chance.
Listen, I have a warrant.
I know you have a warrant.
Okay, please don't take me to jail.
You're going to jail. And don't even run.
Of course the handle's broke. Of course. But see, somebody was in that car.
Stop! If you want another charge, get back here.
No charge.
Now.
Please don't take me to
Get
jail.
back here now.
No.
It's a felony charge. Get out. Felony charge. Get out.
What is going on with that lock? I'm sorry, Chevy. Is that what kind of locks y'all putting on cars in 26? What is that?
Running, I'm going to chase you.
And Lord knows
Felony
she
charge.
about to
Don't
run.
do it.
She gonna do it. She out here doing donuts. Yo, this is the craziest chase I've ever seen in a long time. I think there were kids in that car. Yeah.
Starting mileage 46483.
You sound so unimpressed.
362. Tires blown. She's on metal. Light traffic. Clear roads. $75.
Redirect. Quiet.
Speed's 47. She's going on the shoulder. Come back on lane 3. Still metal to asphalt. Additional charges, criminal impersonation. 364 east. Looks like we're getting off here. She's already spun out a couple times.
All right. Also,
got on this,
there's no kids in this car, but the white car that she was in initially, there was a child. You heard a child say something. So I don't fully know what happened with the kid in that other car, but we'll hear it.
Interstate here. She's pulling off the shoulder. Speed's 42.
Get an exit of the shoulder.
She's stopped right now, still in drive.
This is crazy.
Getting off the exit.
Copy, get off the exit.
Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch
Gary's all going around.
this. I ain't never seen somebody do this before.
Left into the truck stop. Nope, making a U-turn. Another U-turn.
There she goes. I ain't never seen somebody do 3 donuts and then get back on the highway.
Johnny, speed 60. Light traffic, from what I can see.
This is insane.
She's 85 miles an hour on a rim, coming up on light traffic, going into lane 1.
This is a good question. Shout out to the question. So if they stop to help the police also run your tag, that's a great question. He actually ran her by asking her. I mean, you could tell that she was tweaking when she was there. I mean, I think she's in her underwear, for crying out loud. She's in a t-shirt in her drawers. She tweaking. So he probably was just like, let me help her out because she was changing the tire. And of course, he found her name. He sent it to dispatch. They told him who it was, or to the central office. They told him who it was, and that there was a warrant. But yeah, I mean, they can run your tags anyway. Yes, to answer the question. Shout out though, great question. Let's go. Yes, that wheel is basically on fire. I mean, it's cutting through the concrete.
Lane 1, 96 miles an hour.
96 miles per hour on a spare rim.
About 96 miles per hour.
92, 365 east.
Probably 365 east.
Going up on traffic.
It was some Daisy Dukes then. They had back pockets. Maybe she had some Daisy Dukes on. Uh-oh.
Median.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Taser. I bet you won't taser.
What are you doing? You've got like 15 other charges. Get out of the car now. Last chance before you get another one. Come on, get out. Get out. Or I'm going to drag you out. Get out. No. Put him in the back seat. Come out now. No. Put him in the back seat.
You need help?
Put him in the back seat.
Come on. Come on, you have to get out.
Get out.
You have to get out. Let's go. Come on.
Put the dog in the car. I'm not hurting the dog. Put the dog in the car.
Let me have the dog. Let me have the
Give him
dog.
the dog.
Give me the dog. You have to give us the dog.
Give me the dog. Put the dog down. Don't hurt him. Put him in the seat. Get on your face.
Gotta get out.
Now.
Get
Now.
out.
Hey. Stop resisting.
Please don't move it. Don't give me the dog.
We got it. Stop.
Hey. Stop. Stop.
Sorry about the screaming.
Stop.
Hey.
Pepper spray might have worked. It's her baby, she said.
I appreciate you.
Are you okay?
I'm good. It's just fine. Take a breath. Ma'am, are you okay?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
You still good? You all right? No problem. Okay.
You okay, ma'am?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath for me. Everybody's all right. Breathe. Yeah, everything's fine.
Good, bub?
I'm good.
Okay.
Do you prefer a wrecker out of this area? Are you from here?
Thank you, there, sister.
Charleston. You want me to call a record for you? Get you pulled out of here? I got you. We'll get that handled.
You want a place to stay? You want to...
They said they're going to
Do you
take you home
have
for dinner.
A preference on a record? You want me to call a record for you from here?
I don't know. I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
I just picked up my stepson, and now we're heading home.
I'm not even going to tell you how stupid that was. You just stacked on like 5 more felony charges. It's the dumbest thing you could have done.
Is that the only reason you helped me?
I'm done talking to you.
And what else did you need? Oh my gosh, are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. Your insurance is on here. You're good.
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did not sound happy about that. No, not at all, dude. Because I ran it as a hold on.
According to court records,
What's
this
this?
suspect, Brandy, was charged with criminal impersonation for giving a false name, felony evading, resisting a stop, arrest, or search, driving with a suspended license, driving without a license, driving with no seatbelt, not exercising due care while driving, operating a vehicle with tinted windows, failure to maintain lane, improper driving on the right shoulder, not obeying police officers, reckless driving, speeding, following too closely, and financial responsibility for not having insurance.
Bro, they threw everything they could. They threw everything they could. I'm surprised they didn't say endangering the dog. I'm surprised they did not say endangering the dog or causing the police officer to lose his impact wrench on the side of the road. They said they throwing everything at this woman but the kitchen sink. But watch this, though. Watch this, though. Did they have animal cruelty? No, they didn't have animal cruelty. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised they didn't. I'm very surprised. But watch this, though. I'm a little bit perturbed with this. Watch this.
Took a plea deal, pleading guilty to criminal impersonation and felony evading while all other charges were dismissed. She was ordered to pay $1,293.26, and a judge released her back into the public before this video ever saw the light of day.
So she told the officer, I need a lighter, and started walking back towards her car. Most people probably wouldn't think twice about it. But I remember my FTO telling me when I was a rookie, don't ever let someone go back into their vehicle unless they absolutely have to. And the officer recognized that immediately. He called her back and stayed one step ahead. That's experience. Then I started thinking about something else. Pretty much every owner's manual tells you not to drive much over 50 miles per hour on a spare tire. And there's a reason for that. So imagine doing 96 miles per hour after the spare tire is already gone and the car is riding on the wheel itself. At that point, you're throwing sparks, damaging the vehicle, and giving up a lot of control. That's exactly what happened here. And when you zoom out, it all started because she decided to give a false name instead of facing the situation she was already in. And I'll tell you something from experience. Calls like this can wear on an officer over time. Now, this guy stopped because somebody needed help. She took advantage of that because most cops start this job wanting to help people. But you have enough encounters like this, and that trust you started your career with gets a little harder to hold on to.
All right. Shout out. I just thought that was very interesting. We're going to jump back over here and finish up the people that like to lie. Right? I was like, how in the world did she only get 2 charges? And she only had to pay $1,200? I mean, one of those cars, for crying out loud, man. That blue car that she hit, that one definitely had more than $1,200 worth of damage. And you know she didn't have insurance. You know she didn't have insurance. Sad. And how do those people get made right? Ugh, I hate that, man. That is where's the incident exposure charge? I don't know. That's a great question. And you know she had no insurance, right? That was a financial obligation, so she didn't even have insurance. All right, so real quick, let's bring this back in. We're going to finish listening to Rachel Dolezal and Denise Cherie talking about Rachel Dolezal. All right, let's go.
He was the president, I believe, of the NAACP in Spokane, Washington. She was real worked up about race relations because as a Black woman, she was here for equality, except that she wasn't Black. She was a white girl from Montana. And when you looked at pictures of her from high school, it was like, Rachel, what are you doing?
What are you doing,
She was
Rachel?
blonde with freckles and just what in the world? But she had tanned her skin to a deep brown. She wore wigs and she played up her features so that she could appear to be more of a mixed race individual. She was even at the time, though not a full professor, she was some kind of instructor. Where was she? She was at Eastern Washington University, and she was an instructor for Africana education. because as a Black woman, she cared a lot about it. But of course, as we know, she wasn't a Black woman. She was a white woman saying she was Black. So she was promptly fired in 2015. If she'd been able to hold out just a little longer, she could have just told everybody that she identified as a Black woman and what were people going to say to her then. But unfortunately for her, her identity was revealed before people lost their minds. And so she was held to account for what she had done. And so I thought we were done hearing from Rachel.
No, of course not.
No. Rachel's still here. Rachel's decided to do what every failed individual eventually comes to. Every failed celebrity, every failed public personality, everybody who has ever met with a great demise decides that there's one place that will never reject them, and that is OnlyFans. So Rachel's back. But if she wanted to be an OnlyFans model because she couldn't do anything else, I mean, the story is old as time, right? No. She's going to go one step further because as she's already established, she's an educator. And now she'd like to educate you about your sex life. Currently, as a single mother of 3 and an OnlyFans model, she is working to complete her coursework through Sexology Institute, an online institution. And as she's working to get her online degree and to become certified as a sex coach, she is going to supplement her income with OnlyFans by taking appointments because though she's not done with her coursework, that doesn't mean she can't still give you advice about what you ought to be doing with yourself. This lady is insane because some of the things that she's telling people in these appointments that you can schedule with her, I think it's through her OnlyFans account. But if you want her to go ahead and start giving you some sex counseling, regardless of the fact that she has not earned her certificate through her online course yet, you can sign up where she'll give you such great advice as, and this is said without irony, just be yourself. Don't approach somebody with a goal of any particular outcome. Don't misrepresent yourself. And yet, Rachel, who now goes by the name Nkechi Diallo, but we'll continue to call her Rachel. Rachel is appearing to everyone on her OnlyFans looking like this. Let me remind you that Rachel of old, the one who her parents raised in Montana, looked like this. So I'm not sure what she means by don't misrepresent yourself, because she's still trying to sell the idea that she's of mixed heritage. But she would like you to remember that as you're approaching new relationships, just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. She also has such dubious advice as look around the house for household objects that you can use to attack your partner. You know, a spatula could become some kind of a tool to spank someone with. In a fun way. Gosh. She calls these items, these household items that you have decided to use in a different way, pervertibles. You know, look around your house for pervertibles. What can you use as sexual objects?
What's going on?
She also encourages anybody who would like to waste their time and make an appointment with her that if there's something you don't like about yourself, make yourself an OnlyFans account. And then whatever it is that you hate about yourself, there's somebody out there who'd be into that kink. So if you're vastly overweight, don't lose the weight. Get online and find some kink community that will support this. You know, are your feet crippled with bunions? Believe me, there's someone out there. Just get on OnlyFans. This is her great advice on how to make your life better. If there's anything you don't like about yourself, just find the kink community that will support that, and then you don't have to worry about it. I mean, I'm serious. This is what she's telling you. She's also letting you know that if you haven't asked your partner yet if he'd like to be choked, or if she would like to be choked, you ought to ask, because she's known people who have been in relationships for 15, 20 years. And little did the other person know their partner was waiting to be choked. So you might ask about it. I mean, like, what in the world are you talking about, you crazy, deranged nightmare? Honestly, I should have assumed that this is eventually where Rachel would go, but how could any of us assume this? As I was reading the article about it, literally every sentence was brand new information. But then when the article went on to give the kind of advice that she's out here ladling onto people's plates, I just thought to myself, girl, I can't imagine that your online course is going to give you that much more information that would help people, but maybe finish the course before you tell people to start looking for pervertibles around the house. Then my last story for today is a story about a person who we've known has been working to delude us for some time now. That would be Eladia Baldwin, for all the people who hate that I use the H on that front name. Well, you know, the whole thing is hilarious, and her name is Hillary on her birth certificate, so I'll use the H if I feel like it. But Eladia, whatever her name is, who tries to pretend that there's some kind of language barrier because she's bilingual. And that means that she has to speak in the accent of the language that she learned as her secondary language and not her mother tongue. We've known that she was kind of silly and was sort of in the business of trying to present a false image. So this next story shouldn't surprise you at all, though it did surprise me because I'd not heard of it. And I was surprised I hadn't heard of the story because this is crazy. As you know, the house is crawling with kids. Every time you turn around, she was pregnant again. But the curious thing, and the thing that she has been charged with over the years that I just found out about, is the fact that apparently, except for the first pregnancy that she had, because she seemed very clearly pregnant, except for that one, and then her last pregnancy, which the family says was by surrogate, all the other pregnancies, fake.
Fake.
Her small claim to fame, apart from being married to a Baldwin, was that she did pregnancy yoga videos and talked about health and fitness, how to eat healthy, how to take care of your body as mom. And one of the things that she was really known for was as soon as she would have a baby, literally 2 days after the baby is born, she'd be wearing lingerie on her Instagram and posting, mirror selfies of herself in lingerie, being like, if you take care of yourself, you can bounce right back. And she was always posting pictures of herself showing the belly and how slim she was. Nothing about her was bloated. She claimed to do special exercises for her feet so that her ankles wouldn't bloat. She hadn't learned how to do that in the first pregnancy where her feet were very clearly bloated. But I guess she'd learned since then. And there are numerous instances, where she forgot to put on her baby bump in the middle of a pregnancy. And so her stomach is fluctuating all over the place. Or she would put on the silicone belly one way, and then the next, literally within the same day, she'd have put on a different moon bump. So she would be posting pictures of herself that day. One picture, her belly is like up under her chin. Next picture, she looks like she's going to give birth and the baby is fallen, but it's all the same day. You'll see pictures taken of her where her stomach is huge, so big that she's got like a toddler sitting on her belly. And then the next picture that will be posted by like her husband will have her with no belly. There is one infamous picture that you can't even find in North America anymore. It's been scrubbed from the internet, but you can find several of these pictures in other places where she's on the street with a completely flat belly, but supposedly at that time on her own personal Instagram, she's posting pictures of herself with her huge belly. These silicone stomachs have this connection in the back where the big belly on the front and then the silicone wraps around the sides. So from certain angles, you can pose without your shirt on to show off your baby bump and it will look real. But there are videos of her doing her yoga poses where very clearly the silicone stomach is folding in on itself and bending in on itself as she's doing her poses. The stomach is like flattening out as she like leans over to do her different poses in a way that, like, if there was a human baby in there, her stomach would not be moving like that. The plethora of pictures where in the same day we're getting vastly different bumps or no bump even at all. Paparazzi will take a picture of her and she will have forgotten to put her moon bump on that day. Even her nanny has come out to say, her former nanny has come out to say she was faking her pregnancies this whole time because that was how she was earning money. She was doing like yoga pregnancy videos that you could buy, healthy eating when you're pregnant. But for her to have the gall to post pictures of herself after the baby has been born and being like, if you took care of yourself, you can be in your lingerie in 2 days. Why would you do that to people? A lot of the things she was telling people to do in the yoga videos for pregnant people, the real pregnant people who were trying to do the videos literally could not do the things she was doing.
Pregnant people or pregnant women?
And that was another big tip off to the fact that she wasn't actually pregnant because fit people who were used to doing yoga could not accomplish the things that she was asking them to do. But the other thing is there was a time on, baby number 5 where she claims that because she was so good at being pregnant and that the ins and outs of pregnancy were like second nature to her because she'd had so many kids and been pregnant for so many years, that she had learned how to will herself into when she wanted to give birth.
Oh.
She says that she was in the Hamptons and it was Labor Day and she started to go into labor. But gosh, who wants to be in traffic around Labor Day? She couldn't go into the city in her condition. So she was just going to have to stop the contractions. So she tells a story about how, because of her elite yoga knowledge, she was able to put her belly in a certain pose that kept the baby from coming out. And then when she was good and ready the next day, she personally herself drove into the city. Well, her good for nothing husband sat in the passenger seat. And then she says she walked around the city for a while. And then, you know, when she felt like having the baby, she sauntered into the hospital and had it. But she was going to will that baby to come when she was good and ready for it too, because of her elite pregnancy knowledge after having had 4 kids previously.
I obviously go into labor on September 7th, which was Labor Day, the time where there would be the most traffic. But because I had many children, it was my 5th child, I knew how to kind of stop it. So I laid on one side and I lifted my belly up, and I lay there lifting my belly up. I kind of slowed the contractions down. And in the morning, I turned over to Alec. I was like, Alec, I'm going to go into the city. We're coming. I don't like how he drives. So I made him get in the passenger seat and I drove all the way. Then I walked around the city, and then I gave birth on September 8th, but I willed it. I was like, I will not have the baby on the highway. And I did not.
I mean, are you for real? How dumb do you think we are? I mean, obviously pretty dumb. You thought we'd all buy the fact that because you grew up speaking Spanish, supposedly, even though you grew up in Boston, even if that were all true,
Boston.
Why would that mean you'd speak English with a Spanish accent? Who does that except for people who don't speak the language? You know, there's always that person who, for whatever reason, whenever they're around a person who speaks broken English, will somehow adopt the broken English as a way to communicate with this bilingual. Have you ever noticed people who do that? It's always really embarrassing. But I've noticed people do that. Not everybody, but I have noticed some people will do that. When speaking to somebody who speaks broken English, they'll mimic the speech patterns, though it will be easier for the other person to understand them if they also speak the broken English. It's so embarrassing. I feel similarly about the way Eladia approaches this accent that she does. In order for you guys to believe that I'm bilingual, I have to speak with a Spanish accent. I've literally never known anyone who's bilingual who will speak with an accent. You know, if you know French and English, do you walk around with a French accent when you speak English to prove that you know French? That doesn't even make sense. So is she good at coming up with schemes and plans for us to believe her lies? No. So it doesn't really surprise me that she would try to get us all to buy that the super fake pregnancies that she's had, where she can't even remember to put on the right moon bum from day to day. It doesn't really surprise me that she'd be trying to pull off this scam. But at the same time, I say it doesn't surprise me, but then it kind of does. It is galling to think that somebody could claim that they were pregnant 6 separate times and that on all of these pregnancies, they just bounced back because, you know, of the great yoga skills that they had. And that if you just tried a little harder, you could be the same.
You too.
I talk about offensive. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I always enjoy it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheree. That was a lot of fun. I like her a lot. So let me know what y'all thought about it. I really do appreciate y'all. Thank y'all to everybody who hopped in to the best live chat on the internet. This is fun. It's just a thankful Thursday. And you're probably saying, but Jason, you got to tell us if you're going to be streaming the quote unquote debate tomorrow. And the answer is yes. I will be streaming the debate tomorrow. 10 o'clock tomorrow we'll be over here. I still don't think it's going to happen. I know I'm a contrarian. I'm just being difficult. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I'm sorry. But I do want it to happen. So I will be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. So the link will be down. The link is already on my channel right now. I don't know if we put the thumbnail on there. We might not have because we were working earlier. But it's on my channel right now under lives. Let me just check real quick. See if, shout out to Mark. If he put yes, he did, because Mark is amazing. All right, that's my guy. All right, so the thumbnail is already there. Let me grab the link to it right now. Bang, y'all go over there and see me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So let's go ahead. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the shenanigans that have come up that have led us into debate day. I'm not going to call it the great debate. That's a lie. I don't think it's a great debate at all. I think it's going to probably be exactly what we think it's going to be if it happens. Again, I'm just a contrarian. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I do want to bring Jay from Storybox in because he went over the latest shenanigans, and I thought he did a great job. So I want to bring him in and let's give him an opportunity. Shout out to Jay from Storybox. If you could, please make sure you hit the like button. All that kind of good jazz. So let's talk about what to expect. We're going to lay of the land, so to speak, for tomorrow's quote unquote debate. I've said it already, so you know where I stand, but if the debate happens, this is what we can kind of expect. Shout out to Jay. Let's go, brother. Come on up here to the front of the church, Jay.
Weeks that Candy Owens agreed to do a debate with Andrew Wilson. It appears that God must be smiling upon Andrew Wilson and the truth because, ladies and gentlemen, news came out last night that I guarantee you is making Candy Owens freak the heck out, and she decided to cancel her show today and tomorrow, I believe, so that she can prepare for her debate with Andrew Wilson. Now, why in the world did Candy Owens, of all people, decide to abruptly cancel her show today, claiming that she's realizing it would be a total mistake for her to do her show today on the recent defense filing? Ooh, this is going to be juicy, guys. I'll get to it in just a moment. When we are less than 2 days away from the great debate, that's what we're calling it, guys. Yep, the great debate, something that Candy Owens started with all of her bullcrap, with all of her lies and all of her accusations, and she's getting rewarded for doing it. But it looks as if God is like, no, I'm going to have the last say here. I've got the truth, and I'm going to give it to everyone today. This is truly something, guys. I actually really did wake up with a smile on my face. She goes, I, of course, have a lot to say about it. Of course you do. That's why you decided to cancel your show. As always, but forcing myself to stay mum on it until me and Andrew come face to face on Friday. I can't wait. I really can't wait for this particular section of their debate, right? Even though I'm not going to really be watching in real time, but I can't wait to see what Andrew Wilson does when he mentions the latest news, literally last night, the defense is filing. Tyler Robinson's very own defense team believes that he's guilty. Bro, how are you going to come back from that? Please appreciate how difficult it is for me to exercise this level of restraint. Yes, it must be so difficult for you. As the usual suspects put on the typical 4K HD theater. Oh, it must be killing you, Candace. It really must be killing you. Now, Tyler Robinson's defense filing is out, submitted by his attorneys on August 11th, 2026, following the preliminary hearing. And the entire filing is absolutely ludicrous. This is from Sarah Fields, ladies and gentlemen. She's providing the entire filing in this thread that we'll read out and a summary of it. Tyler Robinson's defense is essentially arguing that, yes, Charlie Kirk was deliberately targeted. Yes, one shot was fired directly at him. Ooh, that's not good for Candace. And yes, Robinson allegedly admitted, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. But somehow the state is reaching too far with additional charges and aggravating factors, meaning they're admitting that Tyler Robinson is actually guilty, but we don't want him to get the death penalty. So that's the only thing they're able to try and defend or get him out of, the death penalty. How about that? Hey, Candace, yeah, you've really got a lot to say, haven't you? I'm going to wait till Friday. But hey, guys, go ahead. Believe in the head slop. And don't you guys worry. All of Candy Owens' minions are now saying that Tyler Robinson's very own defense team are a paid bunch of shills fed sloppers. Whoa, what? You don't say. Oh, dear. What are we going to do now? Oh, dear, Candace. What happened? How are you going to get out of this one? Oh, it's no wonder that Tyler Robinson's defense team haven't reached out to you because, hey, if you really do have all the evidence to get him off, now would be the time. Now would be the time to contact them. Yeah, don't think that's going to happen now. I really don't. Their argument against the great risk of death aggravator is almost absurdly simple. Robinson fired one shot. He intended to hit Charlie. He hit Charlie. Nobody else was hit. Therefore, according to the defense, he did not knowingly create a great risk of death to anyone else. And that is their defense trying to get Tyler Robinson off the death penalty. Never mind that this happened at a crowded public event. Never mind that he was allegedly firing a high-powered rifle from a rooftop towards an area filled with people. The defense argues that because the bullet traveled downward, hit its intended target, and did not strike anyone else, prosecutors cannot establish the required risk to another person merely because people were nearby. And the defense's, Tyler Robinson's defense team was saying that the prosecutors, that part is merely hearsay. I mean, bro, this is Tyler Robinson's defense team. They're meant to be defending him. They're not doing a very good job of it. They even attack the significance of the shooting targets recovered from Robinson's apartment. Their argument? The state supposedly cannot establish when those targets were shot, what firearm was used, or whether Robinson personally fired every shot. They similarly dismissed the screwdriver found on the roof, arguing that its existence doesn't prove Robinson took the rifle apart or reassembled it. Then we get to witness tampering. Here we go. This is all juicy stuff, isn't it? Robinson told Lance Twiggs to ask for a lawyer and stay silent. If police questioned him, the state charged Robinson with witness tampering based on the allegation that he was attempting to induce his roommate to withhold information. The defense says absolutely not. According to them, Robinson was merely giving Twiggs perfectly innocent constitutional advice. Well, how about that?
Well, there you go.
Seems like Tyler Robinson knows his constitutional advice, guys. Yeah. Their position is that because Robinson was allegedly said he intended to turn himself in and told Twiggs to be polite to police, this was altruistic advice, not an attempt to interfere with an investigation. Oh, no, clearly not.
Of course not. No.
Oh, boy. Children, then there are the children. Oh, here we go. Children under 14 were at the event. The defense doesn't dispute that. Instead, they argue that prosecutors cannot prove Robinson knew they were there. Well, how are they going to do that? Their reasoning is that Robinson was approximately 400 feet away and allegedly spent only 35 to 44 seconds positioned on the rooftop before the shot. They literally distinguish this from shooting at an elementary school or daycare, where someone's knowledge that children were present could reasonably be inferred, right? Because this happened on a college campus, they say the state cannot establish that Robinson knew children were in the crowd. Right. That's all I've got, man. This is all I've got to try and get Robinson off the death penalty. Not that he's not guilty, but they know he took the shot. Then we arrive at perhaps the most ridiculous argument in the entire filing. Political motivation. Charlie Kirk was one of the most recognizable political activists in America, Robinson wrote. I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it. He also said, I had enough of his hatred. But according to the defense, that's still not enough. Why? Because Robinson apparently didn't provide prosecutors with a neat little itemized list explaining precisely which Charlie Kirk political position he hated. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Sarah Fields' summary for you all. What do you guys think? It seems to be a very bad day for little Candy Owens, who is bumping her show. For what reason? Because of the recent defense filing. Gee, I wonder whether or not she would still be bumping her show to try and prepare for the debate if this defense filing were not out. I wonder. And keeping in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I can say all I want, I've got a lot to say about this. I can say all I want. I've got a lot to say about Candace Owens. But you guys are going to have to wait on Friday to hear all of the stuff that I've got to say, keeping in mind it's a lot. You're going to have to wait until Friday. Yeah, I've planned a debate. I planned a debate, and I am going to just wait. I'm going to hold it all in until Friday, guys. Friday is going to be the big day. The big day to reveal all, man. Yes. That's like honestly, why do people follow this dingbat? Why? I will never understand. Anyway, Blake Neff says to the recent defense filing, Candace is having her latest blow up because the defense new 41-page filing in the Tyler Robinson case uses exactly none of the wild claims she spent the last 11 months pushing. Yep, no exploding mic theory, nothing of the sort. No trap doors, no B cults or Fort Chuka or secret military meetings, no Israeli agents, nothing. No. Rather than make the case that Robinson is not guilty, the filing focuses almost exclusively on trying to spare him from the death penalty. Well, how about that? Maybe, Candace, you can become Tyler Robinson's defense now. I'm pretty sure you would get ripped apart. And I think even you know that, even though you are pretty damn stupid. The filing spends only one page contesting the actual murder evidence. One page out of 41 pages, man, by arguing that Lance Twiggs' testimony was improper hearsay. You don't say. All the rest of the filing concerns aggravating factors or secondary charges. The filing admits that Charlie was killed by a rifle shot from the Lucy Center. It explicitly describes the person captured on camera on the Lucy rooftop as the shooter. There is absolutely no effort to talk about the exploding microphones, either directly or indirectly, by contesting the idea Charlie was shot by a rifle round. The filing never argues that Robinson was not at UVU. In fact, on page 22, it says the evidence shows Mr. Robinson walking up and down stairs at UVU and calls it a, quote, reasonable inference, I believe, that his impaired gait was caused by a fully assembled rifle. Well, that doesn't look good for you, Candace.
Candace said he wasn't even there.
Again, like I said at the very beginning, of all the weeks to set up a debate with Andrew Wilson, with this coming out, it's going to be like, let's argue the facts in a court of law, but that's not good enough because we've created this narrative now whereby we don't believe in government, we don't believe in rule of law anymore. No, we just believe in fictional fairy tales that Dingbat has created. That's what it's literally going to come down to. She's not going to be able to prove at all that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk, because he did, and the evidence is overwhelming. But of course, guys, let's just change the narrative. Why don't we? Yeah, let's do that. The filing admits that Robinson was texting with Lance Twiggs, telling him, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. When Lance asks if there any way he could avoid prison, he replies, I highly doubt it. Professional lawyers, unlike dishonest podcasters, have ethical obligations that bar them from saying things they know are untrue. So unsurprisingly, their defense bears absolutely no resemblance to the one Candace has spent months shilling to her audience. Well, no crap. And look, you've got Blake, who put out a very weird video of him dressed like he is the Joker. Like, now the goalpost has been moved again. Tyler Robinson's defense attorneys have officially self-declared allegiance to the Fed slop. They are shills. Bro, shut up. Really. Shut up. All of you that believe in Candace Owens is crap, shut up. Because the evidence, literally, what are you going to say? That actually makes sense, I'll have you know. Simple. You can't say jack about anything regarding the defense because, hey, we operate in a world of reality. And Pat, if you are a good, decent man, come Friday during the debate, you will actually do the right thing. Keep that in mind. How can you ignore actual evidence? Tyler Robinson's very own defense team. They're court filing now. And this is going to look as if that the judge will probably send it to trial. Based on this, I can't see any reason why he won't. I can't. Because you have confession, you have Tyler's defense team that is not arguing whether or not he's innocent or trying to get him off the hook. They're not even arguing that. They're not even arguing whether or not he did commit the crime because they know he did. Some defense team, we can't help you out here, Tyler. Sorry, mate. We have a duty to actually try and tell the truth. Unfortunately, there's just way too much evidence against you. You're cooked, bro. But we're going to try and get you off the death penalty. You may spend the rest of your life in prison, but we'll try and get you off the death penalty as best we possibly can.
You're not going to get him off.
Right. Well, good luck. Yeah, good luck, guys. It appears that the 92 people that were part of the group chat protecting Mrs. Erica Kirk were right after all.
Shout out to him.
Anyway,
Shout
that's
out. Put
enough
92
from me.
in the chat,
You
y'all.
guys take care. Be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.
Shout out to Jay. Y'all put 92 in the chat. Let's let them know that, hey, we appreciate the 92. The 92 people. Come on, let's go. The 92. Flood 92 in the chat. All right. I appreciate Jay. And I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of get a lay of the land, what to expect tomorrow or what we think might happen. Now, that was Jay explaining it. I did drop the Sarah Fields link in the chat as well. So you can definitely follow along, go back and read that. But I'm going to bring good old Nick Brooks. We haven't talked to Nick in a minute. Shout out to Nick as we get around these bases. Let's bring Nick into the chat. And did I do this wrong? I did this wrong. There we go. Let's bring Nick into the chat and fill us in on what this the defense's motion actually means. So make sure we got all the pieces in place. So if you don't mind, 92 in the chat when you can hear. Let's go.
Tyler Robinson's defense has just made a move that could substantially change this case before trial. The defense is asking the judge to take the death penalty off the table, throw out added charges and sentencing enhancements, and question whether the state has enough reliable evidence to send this case forward to trial at all. This is not a filing that simply disputes the prosecution's story. It is an attempt to cut down the legal case around the alleged shooting and force the court to examine whether each additional allegation is actually supported by the evidence. On August 11, 2026, Robinson's lawyers filed this preliminary hearing brief in Utah's 4th District Court. The document lays out the defense position that several major parts of the prosecution's case should not move forward. At this stage, the judge is not deciding whether Robinson is guilty or innocent. The judge is deciding whether the state has presented enough reliable evidence for the case and its additional allegations to proceed toward trial. The defense says the state may have enough supporting evidence of its overall narrative of the alleged shooting, but the defense argues that the state has not proven the additional facts needed for death eligibility, witness tampering, child exposure, political targeting, and the use of hearsay evidence. That is the problem this filing puts in front of the court. Stick to the end of this video so that you know what the defense wants removed from the case, why the death penalty allegation is the main event, and why the defense says the state has a similar proof problem across its other charges and enhancements. And if you want legal analysis that goes beyond the headlines and actually reads the filings, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment below telling me your thoughts on this case. The largest issue in this filing is the state's death penalty aggravator. The state alleges that the shooter knowingly created a great risk of death to someone other than Charlie Kirk and the shooter, and the defense says this is the sole alleged aggravating circumstance that currently exposes Robinson to a possible death sentence. The defense says an alleged intentional killing and an alleged knowing great risk of death to another person are separate legal questions. Its position is that the state must establish a high probability that another person would die, and it must establish that the shooter knew about that high probability. The defense characterizes the preliminary hearing evidence as showing one shot fired from a rooftop, using a scoped rifle which struck the alleged intended target. It emphasizes that no second shot was fired, no one else was hit, and the alleged shooter fled after that single shot. The filing argues that the cases supporting this aggravator involve materially different facts. It points to repeated or indiscriminate gunfire, direct threats toward additional people, ricochets or stray rounds, actual injury to others, and a course of conduct aimed at more than one person. The defense says the state cannot treat people being near Kirk as automatic proof that someone else faced a high probability of death. It argues the state must establish who was in danger, how great the danger was, and what the shooter actually knew. The state can respond that this allegedly happened at a public event with people near Kirk and that the firing of a high-powered rifle in that setting created obvious danger. The defense says that may establish a possibility of risk, but it does not necessarily establish the high probability and knowledge required for the alleged capital aggravator. The witness tampering count raises a different question about intent. The state alleges that Robinson told Lance Twiggs in substance to ask for a lawyer and remain silent if police questioned him. The defense says that language is consistent with legal advice people are routinely given about speaking to police. It argues that the state must prove Robinson intended to obstruct an investigation rather than merely proving that he advised Twiggs to seek counsel and not answer questions. The defense points to the surrounding alleged messages, which it says show concern for Twiggs and his future circumstances. Its position is that those messages support an innocent interpretation of the advice, while the state would need to prove that the actual purpose was to keep Twiggs from providing information. The child-related allegation turns on knowledge as well. The defense acknowledges that children were present at the event, but argues that the state did not establish that the shooter knew a child under 14 was there and could see or hear the alleged offense. The defense says actual presence of children is not the same thing as the required knowledge. Its argument is that the state cannot prove that mental state simply by showing that children were somewhere in the larger crowd. The defense also challenges the claim that Kirk was selected because of his political expression. The filing says the state relies on an alleged statement that Robinson had had enough of Kirk's hatred, along with broader information about Kirk's political or cultural views. The defense argues that this does not identify a particular political expression Robinson allegedly knew about. It also says the state has not established that a specific political view motivated the alleged selection of Kirk. The state can argue that motive is often established circumstantially. The defense says a circumstantial motive theory still has to connect Robinson's alleged words, his knowledge of Kirk's political expression, and his alleged reason for selecting Kirk. The final part of the filing is broader than any one charge. The defense argues that the state relied heavily on hearsay evidence, including alleged communications and material connected to Lance Twiggs, to establish identity and other key facts. The defense says the evidence was treated as reliable under a rule, but it was not meaningfully tested through live testimony at the preliminary hearing. Its position is that the court should not send the case forward when major allegations rest on evidence the defense says it could not fully challenge. The state will argue that the rules allow this evidence and that it is sufficient at this stage. The defense says that rule-based admissibility does not eliminate its constitutional and reliability objections. If the court agrees with the defense on the capital aggravator, the current death penalty path would be removed. If the court agrees with the defense on the added counts, the enhancements, or the hearsay challenge, the case could be narrowed before trial. That is the defense move to watch, an effort to force the state to prove every added conclusion rather than treating those conclusions as automatic consequences of the alleged shooting. Thank you very much.
Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Nick Brooks. I appreciate it. Now, Nick can be a little bit scholarly, so hopefully you'll be able to take away what Jay read as well as what Nick said and kind of get a good understanding of it. I did also leave the summary that Sarah Fields did. I'm going to put that, make sure I drop that again in the chat. And I thought she did a great job of breaking it down as well. So you can definitely take all of those, what Nick said, what Jay read, and read what Sarah Fields says, and you'll get a good summary. Now, tomorrow we will be back at 10 o'clock. I am going to just drop Sarah's in the chat right there for you. Please check that out. Tomorrow we'll be back at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We will start, and again, I'm hoping that it'll go on. If it doesn't, I got a backup plan. If it does, we'll be ready. So, get your breakfast, get your coffee, all that kind of good jazz, and we're going to be ready to do this again tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go and check out my family and make sure that I've eaten my dinner, so I'm ready for tomorrow. So everybody, thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you so much to SC Dog for the very kind super. Thank you everybody who jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much for making this month a fantastic month on the channel. As you see, we're starting to make some pivots away from that Candace content. So please check out the other things that we're dropping, because they're not going to be Candace centric anymore. We're going to definitely maybe just talk about Candace once or twice a week at best, but the rest of our content is going to be going in some other directions. So I want to hear what you think about it. So let me know. Comment below, all that kind of good jazz, jwitt@jwitt.com. If you got any ideas and stuff like that, please do. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy the outro, and everybody, I'll see you in the morning. Grace and peace.
These are the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and discipline, for comprehending words of insight, and for receiving instruction in wise living, and in righteousness, justice, and equity, to impart prudence to the simple, and knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and gain instruction, and the discerning acquire wise counsel by understanding the proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake the teaching of your mother, for they are a garland of grace on your head and a pendant around your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not yield to them. If they say, come along, let us lie in wait for blood, let us ambush the innocent without cause, let us swallow them alive like Sheol, and whole like those descending into the pit. We will find all manner of precious goods. We will fill our houses with plunder, growing in lot with us. Let us all share one purse. My son, do not walk the road with them, or unjust gain takes the lives of its possessors. Wisdom calls out in the street. She lifts her voice in the square. In the main concourse she cries aloud. At the city gate she makes her speech. How long, oh simple ones, will you love your simple ways? How long will scoffers delight in their scorn and fools hate knowledge? If you had repented at my rebuke, then surely I would have poured out my spirit on you. I would have made my words known to you, because you refused my call and no one took my outstretched hand, because you neglected all my counsel and wanted none of my correction in turn. I will mock your calamity. I will sneer when terror strikes you, when your dread comes like a storm and your destruction like a whirlwind. When distress and anguish overwhelm you, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will earnestly seek me, but will not find me, for they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They accepted none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. So they will eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the waywardness of the simple will slay them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will dwell in safety.